Which camera am I looking at?
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are watching us from. Tonight we have very beautiful and brilliant guests, friends of mine for a long time. And like we say, this podcast is to teach you about modeling, fashion, and pageantry. And these two beautiful people will help us go through this journey of modeling. I don't know how to introduce them, but I think they keep saying we start from the left, the right, say women come first.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Rejoice David Decker, and I was Miss USIU 2019.
Oh, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
My brother.
Yes.
Karibu, I haven't seen you in a while.
Asante. So hello viewers, my name is Cliff Mageto. I'm a runway coach and a model and also an entrepreneur in Nairobi.
Great. Well, episode 10, I'm happy you guys are on today. A wonderful day. I was expecting you guys in red today. I see you guys don't believe in red. Either you don't believe in red or every day is Valentine for you.
For me, every day is Valentine's for me. I don't know why I have to wear something special today.
Mageto,
Yeah.
I saw very interesting pictures today. I didn't know you were blessed with a baby.
I blew the internet.
So I mean, I think so many guys were disappointed.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. So we start with Mr. Seyo.
Yes, sir.
There's a very big perception that pageantry are for these beautiful girls or men who don't have anything in the society to do. And you said you're Miss USAU. Most people don't like calling it USAU. They brag about it, Miss United States International University of Africa. I remember, I don't know if it still happens, but I don't think, one of my greatest friends was Mr. USAU in the late 90s. Kevin Ombajo. People might not know, it was the late, may his soul rest in peace, the former owner of True Black. And I remember that time, like 2 months they would do charity before even they start now doing the catwalk and stuff like that. But there's been that culture in USAU where you have to do CSR before the event and stuff like that. I just want you to take us through what happens in USAU. And I don't know if it's still there, but around that time, everybody won. It's either Miss or Mr. would actually win the pageant.
Okay, so it's very interesting. Of course, I'll brag about my alma mater. I mean, I went to United States National University. Yes. So it's just easier to say USIU Africa, right? In my time, it was interesting because it wasn't about beauty. It wasn't about who could catwalk the best, right? It was all about leadership. And I remember before I contested, we were asked to do a write-up on why we want to be Mr. or Miss. And we did. And we still do the charity thing. But now it's not as rigorous as it used to be. We don't do a whole 2 months. But then we take more than 2 months to train. We trained for 11 weeks. At least when I was Miss USA, it was 11 weeks.
Wow.
Yes, and it was hectic. But then the charity, you do it while you're training. So it's a collective thing. It's a whole group. I remember we're called Dynasty. So the whole Dynasty, we had our charity projects. Everybody comes up with a project you want to do. But then you also have to have a group project, which you would do. Yeah.
Yeah, I just finished an event called Face of Nakuru, and it went through a process from November to February, and people were thinking, why would you do a pageant that long? One of the reasons is we can't get the ladies every other time to train them for like 2 weeks. You know, in campus, you have every year into, but we got them into a process where they go through heats, so you're eliminated, but you go through that process of pageantry. And one of the things, maybe I'd ask Ogeto, you partly was a king, then out became a model, a trainer, and stuff like that. Yeah. But I know one thing that helped you as a king is she talked about leadership, and I think that that character of yours in leadership has really given you a lot of opportunity, even at work. So just let us know a little about what you learn in pageantry that takes you above the rest of the people that you're in class.
Okay, so I think during my time I was trained by Ken Touch.
And before, just talk. She talked about USAU, which is one of the leading African universities. We cannot forget to talk about this university that you went to. I just tell you that people say beauty queen and kings have no career, that's why they go into it. So,
that's
not bragging.
Maybe I can just give you a little background of how I started. So I was in the University of Nairobi.
The university. Great.
Of Nairobi.
Oh, yeah, rivals.
Yes. So I contested for Mr. University of Nairobi in 2016. So that's where my journey started as a model. So it was like a 1 week training. So it wasn't that much of
2 months, yes.
1 week.
It was 1 week.
Oh wow!
So I had to learn the whole modeling thing in 1 week and get ready in 1 week. So, but I was second runners up. So after that, the first show was like more of a. I usually tell people I was trying to impress a girl. So I didn't get the girl, but after trying the first show, that's when I realized that I had passion for this thing. So after that, I went for Mr. Nairobi, Mr. Environment Nairobi. So I did that, and that's where now I came to learn about leadership, the CSR projects. I had a very good trainer, Kent Out. He was here in one of the past episodes. So he's one of my mentors, the guy who now made me the runway king.
Ken was here in the house, was down on fire. He's a go-getter, he's a guy who wants.
So big shout out to him. He's the one who made the runway king who I am today. So under this project, we used to do environment projects. So now that's where I picked the leadership skills. I won the show, and after that we did a couple of tree plantings, going to schools, talking to the children. Now and then we're here today.
Thank you, Mr. Geto. One of the things that I've come to learn is most of the models come in for something. I want a girl, so when I win, probably be easier. I remember Miss University 2020, one, Kavata was here. I said how she went because guys pushed her because she's beautiful. She went without a purpose and she lost it thoroughly. When she came back the second time, multimedia, she won it because she had a purpose and she went for it.
Now I have a vision.
Yeah.
The second time at least, now you have a vision.
Exactly.
You're ready for this.
Yeah. You're not going for the win, but you're going for the purpose, which probably most of the time is you want leadership, you want to give back to a society.
But that's interesting because I didn't have to do. Okay, luckily for me, I didn't have to go a second time because I wasn't the most beautiful in my sets. In fact, I was bullied throughout, and me going for Mr. and Miss was to prove to myself that if I want it, I can have it. Yeah. And it was from a dark place at first. I was going through a lot emotionally. I was mentally all over the place. So if I had a crush, maybe I would have gone because of my crush. Yeah. But I was going because I needed a safe zone outside. Yeah. I needed to leave where I was. I was always bullied for my looks. I mean, my nose, my height, my eyes. People say I have really big eyes.
It happens.
Yeah, so for me, I wanted to prove that it's not always about beauty. So I didn't even think I was going to win. I just, let's do it. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, we try again. And luckily for me, I didn't have a crush. Now, I think I have a crush now, but
not then.
Not then.
I love that part where you said it wasn't about winning. You wanted a safe space.
Yes.
And a lot of young people are now going through that mental space where they want to go into drugs, they want to do negative stuff to try and forget about what they're going through. So when you lost Mr. The Nairobi University, but the Nairobi University has 9 campuses, and for many years when I go through, it's one of the leading African universities. What was going through your mind? That I felt I'm the most handsome guy. Then I've lost this girl, I've lost the title. What are they going to say about me? At that process, what was running through your mind?
Okay, at first you feel really bad. It gets to you. But now, after some time, like now, I now appreciate the journey.
Yeah.
What I had to go through is what that made me today.
Who you are, yes.
So it builds character. You have to go back. You have to go to the drawing table and check what didn't work. And now when you come to the next show, then you will be maybe more ready for it. Yeah, that's normally what happened. But at first you will feel very bad. You will not even go to class for some days.
Oh wow.
Great. Talking about that. You said at that point guys had so much to talk about you.
Yes.
Your nose, your big
trust
eyes.
me, I was trending.
Sometimes you're trying to give up because people have bullied you on during a time there was no internet.
Okay.
The event that just ended last Thursday, there's a lady who's gone through a lot of bullying. She was first runners up. She is 6 foot, slim. So somebody just picked the fight. Oh, she shouldn't have been Miss Congeniality. She shouldn't have been first runners up and stuff like that. And it was one of the contestants that tried to get a fake. They call them fake accounts.
Yeah, decoy accounts.
Yeah, decoy. Yeah, I had the word decoy. I'm analog by the way, guys.
It's okay.
But I'm learning slowly. And I spoke to her. I'd not seen that because I wasn't online, and I think one of the girls like, "This is what's happening online. Where you need to talk to the group." So like, guys, because everyone was ranting, "Who is this?" and stuff. So like, guys, stop giving this guy attention, because the more you give attention, the more they keep talking. And the good thing, the girl is strong. It's like, anyway, I may look, that's what you think. But I'm the only title holder of Congeniality 2024. I'm the first runners-up, you know. So whatever you're going to say, let it be. And I think some of our contestants or the guys going into pageantry lose hope, not even because they're being talked badly online, but because they lost. Some give up a career that probably like Ogeto, if he gave up, then he wouldn't be doing what he's doing now. One of the questions that I keep asking in this podcast is, are there opportunities that you got because on your CV there's that title, Miss USA? As modeling done positive? I tell guys, probably somebody had a major in your class, didn't get the opportunity or a career, a better career than you, but it's because you had that extracurricular that you did.
Yes, I'd say, because let me just backtrack to the bullying aspect. Yeah, it's true that we are in a system where people think pageantry is all about beauty. People think you have to be a certain figure to be Miss SIU or Miss whatever, and it's a certain perception that will never change because it's the society. We are the society. We've made it a norm, right? So cyberbullying is going to be there. But one thing that kept me going was the fact that, well, I was the second Miss SIU who was a Nigerian. I'm here, you're there. What I am doing now, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't take a step. My dad will always say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. Now, when it comes to my career, currently I'm an OAP, you know, and I got it because I was Miss USIU. Now, the thing with being, the pro with being Miss USIU is the fact that Miss or Mr. whatever, as long as you went to USIU, is the fact that they think you're popular. They think you're very jovial. Now, the con of being Miss USIU is you have to be everybody's friend. Literally everybody. So I was friends with almost everybody. And I remember my first gig I got from a cleaner in school. I can't forget her name.
Cleaner?
Yes. And she was like, oh, I saw this ad. My brother was looking for models to, walk the runway at the Ethiopian embassy. Would you like to? And I'm like, oh, okay. But she only did it because, first of all, it was nice to have. Always be nice to the lady. I just had this, thing for public workers. And so we'll gist, we'll laugh, we'll talk. And she was like, oh, you should try it out. And then I did. And then I got my first runway. Then the second, someone linked me up to somebody who now connected me to another guy who had me do his wife's wardrobe shoot. So she was releasing her clothing line, and apparently I was the perfect fit she was looking for. So yes, modeling, it's not for people who don't have what to do. I mean, I'm a journalist by profession. Yeah. But it's passion, and don't close the doors. There are so many doors that it has opened for me. Currently, I MC events. I do events. I host as well. All because, oh, you are Miss USIU. Can you do this? And I mean, never say never. So yeah.
I think you're right, and I've kept telling people in this podcast. One of the guests is an American military now. Mm-hmm. She was a Miss Tourism, Miss International in 2005-06. But she says what gave her what she had in the military, American military. Their training is crazy. But the boot camp, the way she interacted with the rest of the contestants and stuff was partly probably 2 weeks, and she did this for 2 months. But really helped her. So where I was coming to is, I keep telling my contestants, you might be at the boot camp and your judge is the waiter, your judge is that cleaner. What we look at as a beauty queen is your inner beauty. You said knowing people. If you can't handle people around you, then you can't be a beauty queen. So again, you guys have heard from her. she got her first gig from a cleaner. Sometimes we think, oh, this cleaner, this askari, those are people in this world who would save you a million times. Other than that person, you think they're your friend, and behind you they're stabbing you. Oh, that girl, she thinks misuse you, or look at her and stuff like that. There are those people who have nothing. They are in the lowest cadre, but just giving them a talk as miss, it gives them a life extra mile to go. Mr. Mageto.
Yes.
After your Mr. now Nairobi University, then you went to Mr. Nairobi. When I met you, you had that title for the app, Nairobi. Then all of a sudden, you're either doing training, you're working with Techno, and
Oppo.
now Oppo, sorry,
Yeah.
my bad. I keep confusing. Is Oppo also Chinese?
Yes.
I keep confusing these Chinese brands, but Oppo, and you've done very well. So, just give us, how did you get the Oppo job? Did your title help you? And if yes, how was it? Was it a group of people who came for the interview and you got this opportunity?
Okay, so for me, when we did the Mr. Nairobi, the university show, so I got popular in school. So I was the guy. I was even the class rep in my time. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So with that popularity, so to fast track, the guy who referred me to the Oppo job is a classmate. We are not friends. But he had this, like someone tells you, do you know someone who can do social media? And then the guy was like, he posted in the group, and someone endorsed me for that job.
Wow.
So the social media thing, I never got to school, but I used to handle my page, handling my public image. So when I first got to Oppo, the first assignment was to manage their Facebook page. So that's how I got to Oppo.
Wow, so
Interesting.
you've gotten a job
From a
classmate.
Yes.
You've gone into Oppo. You're not just a salesperson or a promoter. You
You're
are
the
Under
handler.
social
you're
media.
You're the handler.
you're handling social media
Yes.
for Oppo,
Yeah.
which is one of the leading Chinese brands in Kenya.
Yeah.
If you didn't go for the Miss and Miss,
I will never be.
you will never be popular. Number one, probably they're more handsome, and people would have gone there and probably got the title.
The title.
But you got a step, took a step of faith and got into that stage.
Yeah.
Because of some Delilah, but you didn't make it, and now you're here.
It's like 5 years later.
5 years later,
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
you're at Opal, and every girl wants to be with you. That one you wanted this girl. Like I was saying, we were talking before. I saw your picture with this beautiful girl with what's it called,
Baby bump.
stuff.
Yeah.
On Valentine's. What a strategy! For me, I didn't know even you have a girlfriend. So I think many girls are suffering out there.
Yeah.
Thinking.
Probably this is what?
So as okay, you're in a public figure. I think some things you have to like keep to yourself.
Yes.
To control. Social media can be harsh at times.
True.
Can.
So
It's-
some things
it's a
you
different
really
world
value,
on its
you have to
own.
keep to yourself.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
I've gone through a lot of that. You may not be a darling to everyone.
Yeah.
Some people think you're the worst person they've come through, met and stuff like that. But again, like we said, keep doing what you have to do. Like the dad said, you must take a step. If you have to move to the next step, then must take a step. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but 5 years later, because you're consistent, then you will make it. Madam,
Yes, sir.
For many years, I've been doing Miss, I think since 98 or 97, I followed Mr. and Miss University. 14 years ago, I took over running the Mr. and Miss University. But a lot of the kings were mostly from Nigeria. And I worked with them, most of them. And I remember the Miss that I worked very close, and she became Miss University, was Miss USAU. You know, the Miss USAU from Nigeria. What was her name again?
Neka. Neka.
Neka.
Yes.
A great lady. The passion. She changed the boot camp because she would come. My office was on Gong Road. I don't think they came to my office on Gong Road. It was our own compound. This girl would come because they trained for like 2 months. And when she opened the gate, girls would know Mama is around.
The presence.
Her presence, her love for everyone. She would carry sweet. You know those small things that guys do that you don't think they're important. But all of them, I remember one of the Mr. I think 2002, we lost him on an accident during, I think it was a Christmas or New Year's in Abuja or Lagos. And it was the saddest thing, because then all of them, the character image out there was totally different. You know, the way people are so negative about Nigerians. It's because, I mean, people judge you before meeting you. I know every time I go to Nigeria, when I get to the airport, I'm like, Mabora, you're not Kenyan. You're one of us. I'm like, yeah, Africa, we are one. It's just that we migrated from different parts of this continent. So when I see Nigerians, like beauty queens, the kings, with a different character, I think we've not used that opportunity very well to try and get them, the community here, to believe that they're totally different characters. It's like Kenyans. There's some Kenyans who are wicked, crooked, maybe because our population is less and Nigerians are 250 million now.
Almost 300.
Almost 300 million. So wherever they go, you always find 1 or 2 Nigerians in a sitting of 10 African people. Of course, you'll find a majority because of the population. I've interacted, we've worked together, we've done a lot of stuff in the line of pageantry.
Yeah.
I do a lot with Nigerians because of the Miss and Miss University Association. And USAU has that number. There's one thing that pageantry brings, or queens bring together, the unification. 2 weeks ago, there was this woman who was killed in an Airbnb in Roysambu, just next to USAU. And word went out, and there's something about Nigeria and Kenyans where we just like fighting. So in my last podcast, I was talking about Miss World, which I'm deeply in love with, because I know Miss World has only had one African queen, and this was Agbani, the Nigerian girl in 2001. And the reason why I feel deeply associated, because I was there when the only black girl was being crowned in Sun City in South Africa. The following year, when the pageant was meant to be done in Nigeria, it got messed up, and last minute the event went to London. And we never ever got, that's 2001, that means 23 years later, we've never done, the event has never come to Africa again. We never got an African queen, at least Miss Universe, we had 3 or 4 since 2000. What did you tell our people regarding pageantry and unification in terms of when you're at Miss USA, you're the only Nigerian, though you're 2 of you, but we never looked at who is next to me. Is he Luya, is he Zambian, Congolese and stuff like that. Africa is divided because of tribe, Africa is divided because of countries. I see Kenyans fighting Nigerians, Kenyans fighting Sudanese and stuff like that. What will you do as a society? I mean, there's something about pageantry that people do not understand, the magnitude and the power that this has. I keep telling guys, it's the only event that can be compared to World Cup and the Olympics, opening and closing. And these two events, they come after 4 years and 5 years. Yeah. Miss World and Miss Universe come yearly. So that means if they're the same level of 2 billion people watching them on the night, that means they're 4 times or 5 times the rate. What do we need to do to bring Kenya together in pageantry, Africa together in pageantry? I sometimes sleep and say, why don't Africa have their own pageant and get the Muzungu and the Asians coming to contest? Because we contest in their pageants. Have you ever thought about bringing Africa? Maybe not, but that's one of my visions.
Okay, personally, thank you for your question. Yeah. Personally, I've thought about that. I've actually thought about Miss Continent, where Africa would be the host, and we'll have different parts of Africa contest, and we'll have different continents also come to contest. So it's not just gonna be either the US or India participating, everybody's participating, but we're going to have one beauty queen from each continent, but the event is going to be in Africa. And like you rightly said that pageantry is big. We just don't see it that way because there's a perception on what pageantry is, and there's a very thin line between pageantry and highway runway models. Now, for you to be a king or a queen, there are certain characteristics, right, which would be judged. As an African, it hurts me that we have these petty fights amongst ourselves. The Ghanaians and Nigerians, we're always up against each other. Whose jollof rice is better or not? Kenyans and Nigerians, your guys of each race. So why do we let one thing, change our narratives about each other? We are all blacks. Our blood is red. Even though I say mine is green, because I'm Nigerian. But I mean, we are all from the same ancestral background, just different tribes and tongues. If we can all sit together and watch the World Cup, why can't we come together and bring something from Africa? The West believe Africa is just bush. There's a friend of mine who asked me, you're in Kenya, do you have a lion in your house? And I'm like, no, actually I have a jaguar on my bed. Things like that, because they don't rate us Africans. And we Africans, we do it to ourselves because we don't rate ourselves. If you ask an African about a particular African, the first thing they say is nothing positive. It's always negative. Why don't we change that narrative? If we begin to change the narrative of negativity and bring out something positive, then I think we'll have a head start, especially in the world of pageantry. Because when it comes to body shaming, Africans, we body shame ourselves the most. I won't even lie. So why can't we have a pageantry where every figure is accepted, and it's not going to be based on you being a size 6 or you being a size 12. There are certain characteristics we will use to judge, and it will be out there in the open. That's how I feel.
And also, maybe to add on that, in changing the narrative, we normally have this introduction videos during these pageants. So I think this is one of the best opportunity to sell our culture. To see different cultures, and this will always bring out the African spirit. So I think we also need to have a better organization, because maybe this pageant want to do it by itself. These people want to organize by themselves. So we also lack that unity.
Yeah.
So I think in addition to changing the narrative, we need to have some form of unity, and also use this maybe like for introduction videos, just sell our culture. Let the other people appreciate different cultures.
Africa.
Yeah.
Great. Just before we go for break, you've heard what we've talked about. When you look at the openings of most of the African AFCONs, the beauty of our culture comes out so beautiful. They can't do it anywhere like we do it in Africa. When we come back from break, we handle that slightly a bit before we jump back to serious pageant discussion. But I think this is key. So see you in a few minutes. Yeah, we're back again, episode 10, sorry, and we're discussing about the unity of Africa. Politics has refused, AU 0. We are trying in football. Africa love football, but I think pageantry, there's no rough, like in football, somebody must step on you and stuff. In pageantry, there's nothing like that. And I think a country that has really got this pageantry right is Philippines. You go to any international pageant, the Filipinos online have it. 23 years ago, a lady called Astra started the Miss Earth. And 23 years later, Miss Earth is in the top 4 pageants. Nobody ever thought Philippines would have that effect in pageantry. Miss World English, Miss Universe America, Miss International Japanese. Those are superpowers, and Philippines has taken over. Africa can do it. You can do it in Nigeria. I remember a guy called Ajovi. Ajovi used to do Miss Malaika, which was an African pageant, but because of these fights, then he couldn't make it. But I think when Africa comes together, people like Airtel, where they have their presence in half of this continent, they use models for their advertisement. A lot of things are around modeling. I know AI is coming over and taking over, but they cannot have that human feel. So this is a discussion for another day, but I think Africa can do it. We do it better, like she said. This time we don't look at sizes, we look at your inner beauty. Provided you got it, then we crown. Let's not look at the West and wait for everything to be done. Yeah. I'm liking the way the new president of Burkina Faso, the youngest president, and one of my role model was Sankara. So there's just an association, and I'm seeing the Western countries, like Guinea, where the leadership have been taken by military. Probably that's the way Africa will be liberated. I see a second liberation after our great nationalism the Kiwanukas, the Patrice, Jomo Kenyatta, Nyerere and stuff. We can actually do it as pageants. So I'm talking to the queens. Let's not look at it as competition. If you don't win today, you'll win tomorrow. And my last discussion was, any of those girls who make it to question and answer, any of them is a winner. And it's only the grace of God that that crown lands on your head. And everyone has their time and their star. So let's go back to your time in pageantry. You said you did a lot of tree planting, seeing children, less fortunate children. What drove you? Is it a passion that you had from before, or is something that came in after you got into pageantry?
Okay, well, after proper training, you are prepared for this kind of projects. So when I was doing Mr. Environment, we were given options. You had to come up with a project, and at that time I love environment, so I knew what I had to do was joining environment conservation and education. That's why I used to do tree planting mostly with school children, and during this tree planting we also have like a mentorship. We will talk to the children and just encourage them to pursue their studies. So it became now a passion. We've planted a lot of trees. I've traveled to many places in Kenya just to plant trees.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
The world was still not very keen about climate change. Our president talks lips climate change. There's too much money on climate change, and I know most of our people are doing it for money. Guys are planting trees. I met some Japanese lady about 7 years ago that changed my mind about tree planting. He told me what they do there is grow trees. Growing means it's like you do maize, you plow it, weed it, harvest. We don't do that. Most of us are doing it for publicity.
Yeah.
The other day, Kenyan had a tree planting day, which was widely advertised.
Yeah.
I don't know who follows that, how many trees have grown. Not that I'm being political, but I'm thinking most of our beauty queens, like in Miss University 2018, we did about 18,000 trees. I know the only place that we follow is in Kitui, Seku, where it is well planned. We plant them in a school, so there's somebody who follows. Yeah. Which is a good narrative. I wish we could do more of that. We could have more advocates like you doing this tree planting training. For example, I would love us to start in schools where we do planting fruit trees in every student comes. Yeah. In every, if you join maybe class 1, you plant a tree and grow with it to class 8 and stuff like that. And this can only be done if the queens and the kings push. One of the things that we must understand as a queen, and you talked about it, you must have a purpose, you must have an advocacy in your year of reign. Miss USAU, what was your drive, what was your purpose, what did you advocate for in your year of reign as Miss USAU?
Okay, so unfortunately, after I won, COVID hit. So we couldn't really do a lot, but what I did was, I have a foundation, by the way. We cater for street kids. So every month I feed street kids. Once in a while, it's good for them to have that experience of being loved. But throughout my reign as Miss USIU, I also did with Miss Culture. She's also Nigerian. Mm-hmm. Shout out to her, to Marla. We used to feed a village in Kasarani. So every week we go, we cook with my friend Leah. Leah was our chairperson. at the time for Mr. and Miss, the committee. So she was like, I know you have a passion for the less privileged. Finances might have been an issue, but this is what we can do. So a couple of my friends were like, you know what, whatever it is you want to do, we'll do together. So for me, it was about feeding the less privileged. And also, okay, I don't mean to blow my bubble, but most of the public toilets in town, I used to get sanitary towels and put there.
Wow.
First of all, in my school, and I know in Kenya, sex is free. It's not a choice, right? So if you can hand out free condoms, why can't you hand out free sanitary towels? We didn't choose to be women. We were born like this. We don't have the option of picking when we want to see our periods. Okay, except, you know, you get pregnant and then you decide 9 months, I'm not gonna have a baby. But then that was my push. My push was to be the voice for the voiceless. So for kids who had not had food, I decided every month I'll make sure we have Christmas. And the good thing is, I wasn't doing it to publicize. I've never publicized any of them. For me, it's just being the hand in the shadow that will give a helping hand. So my drive, even when I was contesting for Miss USIU, it was solely for charity. It wasn't for me. It was to be able to help these guys who have not had it. And I remember even the cleaners at the time, we would sit in the toilet and just my free time, and the lady's like, are you not tired? I'm like, I mean, you're here, you work here, so if you can sit here, why can't I sit here? Oh, yeah. And I would help them clean the toilets, and we'll laugh, we'll talk. Okay, these are my problems, I can't help you, but I can try, and then I will do the little I can. So for me, being a king or a queen is all about servanthood. It's not about just being a leader. If you're a leader and you can't serve, then what's the purpose of being a leader? So my drive was my passion for the less privileged.
Yeah, well said. Sometime, and I'm going through social media and I find beauty queens who most of their posting is looking nice in a dress. Tomorrow they're doing lipstick, the next day they have nice shoes and stuff like that. I think then they've lost it in terms of leadership, because I want to see a beauty queen who today was a newborn children's woman dealing with the kids with HIV and just giving them love. I want to see a beauty queen. I'm not saying you can't put in your beautiful clothes, but it can be 90% of the 30 days of the month you have that outer beauty, and we're told almost 90-80% of a queen must give back to society. And sometimes we're not saying it's about bragging, but you need to achieve positive stuff. Some people would say, oh, I just did my nails, so I can't touch, I can't go and clean the streets, I can't plant trees, I can't go to these medic kids and stuff like that. One of our greatest beauty queen in this country that has a reputation for doing charity is Cecilia Mwangi, who went into Jiga campaign. I don't know how a human can stand that pain. I don't know that you guys have seen a kid or a human being with Jiga. Cecilia Mwangi was there for almost, she still does it up to date. So again, she served and now she serves. After that, she got some work in government and she works for Ministry of Trade. She travels a lot. I mean, maybe the people she was in school with at Jomo Kenyatta University have not gotten that opportunity, but because she gave back, she decided this is what she wants to do. They say whatever you do, it comes 3 or 4 times. It multiplies. And I think as a beauty queen, you have an opportunity that nobody will ever have. That's the reason why I call Miss University Mr. Environment, because titles will never go. That's year, there can never be 2 Miss USIU, there can never be 2 Mr. Environment. So when you decide, oh, me, I'm already old, I don't want to do it, It can't. Ovaya Karaoke Miss Universe 2018 came and says former. I was like, no, you can never be a former. It's Ovaya Karaoke Miss Universe 2018. It's Barack Obama, the United States American president. Mageto.
Yes.
Apart from now, pageantry, there are a lot of things that come with it. Now you get off pageantry and you become a model. And I was telling guys, there's a thin line between a queen and a model.
Yes.
You can decide to be a model and decide, I want to do lingeries. I want to do just ads for my beautiful fingers and stuff like that. But then there are models that serve both sides. They get into pageantry, maybe pageantry didn't go very well, then they get into now modeling. And I think you've been in both world, the modeling and pageantry, and you're now a trainer. Very interesting that probably you may not make very good money in pageantry, but it depends on how smart you are. But there's nothing that you can do as a model for free, because you're paid to go on the runway, you're paid to do advertisement and stuff like that. My question was, a lot of these young people want to be on billboards, they want to be on TV, they want to be on the newspaper, and they've lost that professional ethics. Someone says to you, I just want to be on the billboard, I don't even want the pay. How do you handle such kind of stuff as a model trainer?
So as a trainer, so we normally have this a course. We have a course we take through the models, and after the course we try to introduce them to the industry. So what I do, I normally don't consider myself as a trainer. I normally call myself a coach.
Yes.
So as a coach, it is not just like a one-time thing. You have to follow up with this person, what are they doing, how they're handling their pages, how they're branding themselves. So now, so that they can also get the financial benefit of the modeling industry. So most models, the so-called models nowadays, don't know how maybe to brand themselves. So that's why you find them, like someone will just do like a billboard for free. They just want to be seen. But they don't know that they can make a living out of this. So as a coach, I normally try to take my students through the steps, how to build a brand, how to monetize your content, and just follow up with them every step of the way. So for me, it's not just the 1 month class and that's it. I try to follow up.
Great. Madam,
Yes,
there's something that social media is changing, and not just in Kenya but the world. I see a new modeling, they call themselves
influencers.
influencers. Without character, without work ethics and stuff like that. What's your take on influencers?
Personally, I don't think being an influencer is an issue. But if you're an influencer with a nasty character or an attitude we can't handle, then you've missed it. Now the thing with you being a model, who is a model? A model is someone I can look up to and adapt from. So if you call yourself an influencer and you're influencing a brand, and I don't see that brand you're influencing, are you actually an influencer? People use the word influencer because it makes you popular. Now, popularity and work ethics are Irish twins. You can be very popular, but you don't have work ethics. So what happens? My take on influencing, if you know what an influencer is, you know you're doing your job. But if you're just there for the popularity, then you need to go back to the drawing board, because truth be told, we've missed it when it comes to modeling and influencing. As a model, you don't always have to be an influencer. But as an influencer, you're already a model. And there's a generation looking up to you. So if you call yourself an influencer and nobody can say anything good about your character or anything good about your work ethic, then there's an issue because you've missed the line. I'll repeat it again. Every model cannot be an influencer, but every influencer is unconsciously or consciously a model. If Licky is an influencer for my brand, he's the face of my brand, right? If his work ethics are not good, if he does not have good people skills, then my brand has gone to the ground. Because at the end of the day, I need someone who would uphold that brand for me. There are people who don't like to be in the limelight. They just want to be behind. So they use these influencers. And sadly, these brands have gone to the mud because your influencer does not have people skills. So as an influencer, you need to go back to the drawing board. You need to understand what the word influencing is. It's not just about you looking pretty or you looking handsome and just holding a brand or something and trying to, come up with a narrative about that brand. So if you're an influencer, you are unconsciously a model. And we can't take that from you because you're the face of this thing. Yeah. So for me, influencing is just, it's modeling, but on a different pedestal.
Level.
Yes, you don't do the whole runway the way we train vigorously, but you're actually a model. Yeah.
Good, brilliant answer. Mageto.
Yeah.
For me, I've been thinking again. The reason why our beauty queen are not at the center of making money, the models have taken over, is probably lack of good coaching. Like I said, let's not call it training. I remember when I was doing Miss World in late 90s, 2000, all the queens, their first job was to get an ad. I remember Yolanda Masinde got Colgate, and it wasn't just a Kenyan agency. She had been seen at the Miss World stage and they wanted her, and this Colgate is Unilever. The following year, Daniela Kimaru got Vaseline. That got cut because one of the things is, if today you asked somebody, do a research and ask who was Miss World Kenya 2 years ago, who was Miss Tourism, they don't remember because their presence is not there anymore. I'm happy we're talking to Miss Yusayu, who was from Nigeria and feels at home in Kenya. I see you training a lot of the Somali models. My question is, are we lacking that training? Because again, today I'll become a queen, but because my manager or my franchise holder himself doesn't understand what pageantry is, then we're losing out that important key aspect of beauty queens. And I think, like we said, the African leadership does not understand the importance and how influential pageantry is, because I myself as Likiodera and coach probably has not done enough to train not just the model, the public on the importance of that world stage. I tell guys, Kenya will not be, not even in the World Cup in AFCON, because we have no capability and the love of football like maybe the Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria and South Africans. But we'll be in Miss World, year come, year go, and we can't be escorts in Miss World. We must be able to achieve. I don't see why the Nigerian girl won and 23 years later we can't get an African girl winning. So my question to you is, are we either lacking the training, or is it everyone doing these pageants for cash and not having that passion? Because if you don't do anything for passion, then you lose it.
So I think start with passion. Sometimes maybe the agency or the franchise might do some things for you, but you as a person, you have to go out and hunt.
Brilliant.
So if you're not aggressive, and then even your impact will not be felt after some time. Maybe we'll just remember you during your reign, and once the reign is done, that's it for you. So I think it's begin with passion and being aggressive and going out, learning new things. The industry keeps changing with times. There are new trends. So for you to remain relevant for long years, maybe 10 years, 15 years, you have to keep learning and keep trying new trends and researching. So for a model who is not doing all this, will forget you in a very short time. Yeah, so there's it's it's a Japanese concept, the Kaizen, whereby it says you never stop learning.
True.
So you have to keep learning for you to keep growing. So once you feel like you're now a beauty queen, you're on top of the world, and you stop learning, then becomes your downfall. So just keep learning, keep seeing what's trending, and just study the industry, and you'll be good.
I love that. We are having a beautiful visitors, and today everything is just flowing. I wish we could stay here like the whole night, but time does not allow us. So just before we go, I would like to ask you,
Yes, sir.
to let's give advice to the young people, the parents, those who want to join pageantry, modeling or fashion. What do you think should be done, or what they should do to be able to achieve in this industry?
Okay, so first of all, like you rightly said, there's a thin line between pageantry and modeling. In pageantry, we're not naked, and that's the misconception parents have. When you tell your mom, "Oh, I want to contest for Miss This," they believe, "Oh, she's coming out in pants and bras," stuff like that. But when it comes to pageantry, there's a lot that has been installed in that franchise. And for ladies or gentlemen who want to contest, first of all, make sure your mental health is in check, because you will be tested. One advice is go into pageantry with an open heart. Even if you don't come out with the crown, you're still royalty. And I think that's what helped me, because when I was contesting, it was more about whether I get the crown or not, it doesn't change who I am. Now I know I'm a queen. And I learned a lot. So make sure you have good people skills. Make sure you're open-minded. You're going to work with different people from different parts of the world, Africa, Europe, the West. And also make sure that you know who you are, because pageantry would test you. You would try to be someone else at some point to prove a point, but then authenticity is originality, and that's what I can say. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well done. Well said. Thank you so much. Mr. Mageto, what do you tell the world? What do you tell Kenyans?
So for the upcoming models, my advice for you is to never stop trying. It may not happen today, may not happen tomorrow, but as long as you keep going forward, as long as you keep fighting, it will. It will. Even if it's 5 years to come or 10 years to come, some of the things you learn along the way will help you somewhere in future. So fall forward. Don't fall and stay down. Yeah.
Thank you so much once again. If you haven't subscribed to Sash and Style, just go and click and you get a lot of advice. We're not, if you listen to them, we're not just talking about pageantry. We're talking about leadership, we're talking about respect, we're talking about research. We're just talking about changing the narrative of African leadership. Most of the successful revolution, most of the successful changes in this world are done by the young people, and pageantry is usually a young people's thing. I just saw last year Miss Universe saying if there's no age limit, you've given birth or whatever. Pageantry is changing, but again, like Madam said, one of the most important thing is, why am I doing this pageant? What purpose is it taking me for? I could count up to 50 Kenyan pageants. But again, whichever pageant you're going for, do some due diligence, because you might go to a wrong place and just miss your calling as a model. You might start small and end in New York, Paris, Tokyo, the big cities of fashion. Keep coming, keep watching us every Wednesday. We are live. We're talking about leadership. Sash and Style want to change the narrative. If you have questions, let's discuss. We are going for a masterclass next month. We're gonna be live at National Theatre with negotiations. So we'll want a crowd just to discuss. I bring most of my visitors, my guests that have been on the podcast, to ask them questions rightfully. We want this to be a movement. We want pageantry to change the narrative, not just Kenya, but Africa as a whole. We are ready. Africa is ready to explode, and I think once we learn ourselves, because in pageantry there are a lot of things that you learn after. You've just heard from my guests that they got to understand themselves when they got into pageantry. Enough of that. We see you next week, same time, same place, same outfit. See you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.